All right, Lady Ada, what is this?
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Show and Tell. It's me, Lady Ada, with me, Mr. Lady Ada, and we're broadcasting from our downtown Manhattan headquarters. Beautiful summer days, summer evening here in New York City. But you can see everyone's gone. That's because it's time for Show and Tell. We're going to check in with DigiKey and makers and crafters and hackers and creative people from around the internet, see what they're up to, check in with them for our weekly check-in, and then don't forget, in about 30 minutes, we have Ask Engineer. So let's kick it off with Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. How are you?
I am good. How are you guys?
Good.
Sounds like a nice summer day in beautiful Manhattan.
You can see the sunlight. There's sunlight. This is where.
Yeah.
It's also beautiful here in Minnesota, finally. So it's good to hear that.
This
I'm
is
actually
the 1
going to be
week.
in Manhattan in 2 weeks. It's kind of exciting.
Well, would you have time to get together?
Maybe I'll send you a note. We'll see what we can do.
That sounds pretty good. There's another person that's related to the DigiKey orbit that's going to be stopping in soon, but maybe I'll reveal that next week after the show.
That sounds good.
Okay.
So what I'm going to share with you guys today is I'm going to share, if you want to pull up my screen, I'm going to run through our innovation hub really quick that we are just about ready to launch. So it's kind of a...
Yeah, you were mentioning this before.
Go for it.
Yeah, so we have 5 different areas in here. We have our test bench. You jump into our test bench and you can look at different products. You can view them in 360. You can play around with it, get more information, and of course, go to the DigiKey website to order them. I'm going to go really quick because I don't want to take up too much time.
You got plenty of time.
We have this is our featured product area where we're going to show some of the new featured products that DigiKey has that are kind of new and kind of trendy, kind of something that the suppliers think is kind of cool.
Yeah, look at this.
What was this? What was this built in? This is like
we worked with a third party to build this, and they did such a great job. This looks like our new warehouse in the back room.
Here comes the packages.
Here's the box. Ding ding.
So then here comes the magic DigiKey parts that we chose, some of the newest products.
Yeah.
You pull these up and you can look at them. You can view more information about all the different products. And I just did show me random ones, but you can actually go through and select products as well. So this is going to jump back.
And so is this a strictly web experience? I mean, it also looks like you could put on like an Oculus Quest and go and fly around in it.
That's something we've talked about. How do we turn this into a VR, a virtual reality experience? But at this point, it's strictly a web experience. It's a web experience.
It's so close.
This is not the metaverse. This is the Digiverse.
That's right. This is the Digiverse. So then this is just some of our calculators and conversion tools that we have. You're going to do an Ohm's law calculator, or enter in all your information and it all pops up right here. Oh, maybe I should look at an LED series resistor calculator, and you can enter this 5 volts to 5 volts. All the information, and it'll calculate it for you. So there's all of our different calculators in here, which is pretty cool. And then different conversions too. Everyone wants to know how to convert things. So it's all right here at your fingertips. Go back to the hub. And this is one of my favorite areas, the Knowledge Center.
Wait, there's your skateboard if you're wondering where it went.
There is my skateboard, and there's the Iron Man helmet. Okay. I know my camera's not showing, but it's also right behind me.
Yeah.
So we have videos over here that all the DigiKey videos and libraries, different how-to and tech tips, a bunch of different videos that DigiKey has. You can watch them right on here. We have some of the Sean Himmel videos, all the different cool things that we carry, the tech basics, another teaching moment. And then we'll jump over here to resource library. We have 4 different areas. We have DigiKey overview, technologies and markets, guides and handbooks, and then support. So you can get to our tech support or whatever it might be. This is our innovation handbook. You can see we have the startup survival guide. You can scroll through this and read all about startups. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. With the part shortage, this is all different now. Like, it's like a lot of the stuff that we've written and videoed about is like so different now because of just like the parts and silicon shortage. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really, the speed of change is really scary.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. And then the last one is the board delivery system. This looks like an old bank teller delivery. Here in a second, we'll pull up some Adafruit boards. We'll pull up the circuit playground, the 2 circuit playgrounds, the Clue, and then the Trinky.
Okay.
And
Now, I'm not complaining or anything, but if you were to do alphabetical, Adafruit would be first.
you're right. Maybe that is something we should do.
I don't know. SparkFun's first. You know what? I always say put
Let them go first.
SparkFun first, because folks should try the SparkFun stuff out, and then you should.
When they want, the good stuff.
And then
They come over to our place.
I don't mind being the second try.
Oh, look, it's little tubes.
Yeah, it's bank teller tubes, and I think they're working on this because these are usually.
This is great.
But if you pull up the blue fruit, you can look at this in 360.
Wow.
Turn around. You can zoom in. See if it lets me zoom in. Yep. Get more information about it, and then you can view the data sheet, these product details. This will all link off to the DigiKey website. I'm not going to click it, or I'll lose you for a second.
Yeah.
Just the way StreamYard works.
Nice.
And then you can go back to the different board selections, select some different boards, look at more things, and this is a quick overview of our hub. And this is going to be for anybody to check out. We have some pretty cool things we're also adding in the background in the future that I'm excited to share with you soon, but just not quite yet. So this, it really allows us to tell a lot of different stories about DigiKey and what we have to offer to the customers.
I kind of like that because with the web, it's so distracting with all your bookmarks and everything that's going on and tabs. If you wanted to have an experience and have more precious time when you're doing this experience allows that more than when you're just, of course, if you're ordering something that's different, but if you're exploring, the web stopped being like that. Just the way everything works now, it's you don't get a chance to have an immersive experience.
Right, even videos, trying to find all the different videos and all the different resources DigiKey has to offer. We have so much stuff on our website. So,
on YouTube, if you're starting to I'm going to watch a solder video with DigiKey, and then if you turn your head for a second, it'll auto go to the next video, and ad will play, and now you're in some type of reptiles actually run the world conspiracy video. Right. So I kind of like how
it's focused.
Yeah, I like how this is immersive. You're like, this is what I want to do. It's almost like its own streaming network.
Right.
Digiflix. Okay. All right, Kevin. Well, thank you, Sean. Is this world premiere? Is this the first time it's been?
This is the first time I've really shown it to any kind of an audience. It's been mostly internal DigiKey, getting feedback, getting getting all the kinks worked out, and we're very close to having this a public link where anybody can get around.
The only bug report to send to those folks is they should alphabetize them.
I'll work on that.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. I could use a little more sleep, but I think that's a typical new parent thing.
Yeah.
Oh, bummer. Okay.
Why sleep when you can code?
Why sleep when I can code? Let me split the view here. Because you weren't seeing the top of this. So what I have been working on is there are debug prints for sure. So beware of that too. But I'm starting doing the basics or the pre-work for what I consider a web workflow, which is the ability to use an HTTP REST API to upload files, download files, and WebSockets as well for the serial link. And the first thing one of the first things I needed to do for that is to have the Wi-Fi, when you connect to Wi-Fi, it lasts the whole time rather than turning off and on as code starts. So I've been working on that. And one thing that I did is I was trying to figure out how to always show you what the status of the Wi-Fi is. So I split my thing here just so that the terminal status is up here. So this snake Wi-Fi off is coming from CircuitPython. So if I hit Control D to start up, I have user code, but now it says no IP.
Okay.
And then as it gets to my Wi-Fi, it will put my IP address in there.
That's cool. All right, so you got a little bit like a status bar.
Yeah, so I was going to originally do it with this scroll buffer thing, but when I was using that today, I noticed that I couldn't actually scroll up infinitely, which I really do like to do. It was just keeping me to one single page. So here I can still scroll up, but because I'm setting the title, I can still see kind of my status. And then
what are you using to do that? Is that N curses? You said or VT100 codes, VT220 codes?
Yeah, it's I think a code that Xterm actually started
Yeah.
using the operating system command. So it's like very similar to VT100, but not quite the same.
Okay.
Where you can give it up to a 256 character string to set the title for the terminal.
You know, and I mean, I remember using text terminals like Minicom and Zterm and whatever, and they would set the top bar because it would tell you your baud rate, your connection status, how many minutes,
Right.
and how much you're paying CompuServe. So I'm glad we're bringing that back to
I know.
CircuitPython.
Yeah, so I was playing around with that, and it is. I think it should be pretty universal, but we'll need to make sure that like mu and things work out. But the idea with the status bar is that there's going to be a lot of different ways to do work, like change code in CircuitPython, right? Like we were used to be very just USB, but we added BLE, so we have USB and BLE, and now we're going to add Wi-Fi. And then when we have USB host, I want keyboards to be a thing as well. So this will hopefully be kind of an extensible way to communicate to someone like, here's the status of all these different ways that you could be editing your code.
Yeah. Also, like, are you in a fake sleep mode right now? Is Bluetooth connected? There's a lot of like statusy things. Could be interesting eventually if userland could also pop stuff in there. If they're like, I want to see the MAC address, or I want to have the sensor status, like maybe have sensor data, have a mini status bar. Could be cool.
Well, that's the thing is that because it's just using this obscure escape code thing, like there's no reason that the user code couldn't just print those escape codes and get the same result.
True. All right, good stuff.
Yeah, so that's I don't know if you have a ton of other people, but I do have another thing I could show you.
Yeah, we got two more, but why don't you go? Rachel will be next, and then we'll go to John. So go ahead and.
Okay, let me just show you my non-work thing.
Yeah.
So I gave you another screen. So one thing, I was following along with the state level redistricting in Washington State. The redistricting process, for those of you outside the U.S. or who don't know in the U.S., is the process of splitting up an area into equal population chunks. So each chunk has a representative, and this happens at the state level. And then now in Seattle, it also happens at the city level. And one tool that they were, I was watching some of the redistricting meetings, and they were like, we really need a tool where somebody can just draw on the map and tell me, what do you think this neighborhood is that we should keep as one? So we have this site I made called mapnote.dev. And so you can zoom in and you can select a polygon and just draw. Oh, it stopped working. I'm like not a JS person. But you can draw a polygon here.
Okay.
And if you double click, there's the polygon and it adds it to the URL. So if I just copy it, open a new tab and paste the URL, I get the polygon back.
That's
so
nice.
It's a super simple way for folks to share a note on the map, right? Like whether it's a line, an area, or just a point. And it's all super simple because it's all just stored in the URL.
I love sticking stuff in the URL.
It's handy.
Yeah, it is super handy. It's kind of like that. It reminded me of that tree map dev I think I showed on Show and Tell a couple weeks ago, where it's just like, well, one static page, you load the file, it helps you out, and that's all the page does.
Yeah.
So this
all
is
right.
another tool like that.
Well, thanks for sharing this, but also thanks for always being civic minded. I know over the years that we've been working together, you've been using your talents and skills to help things like voting information. And this is, I think, a good example of being an engaged citizen, because the politicians aren't hanging out doing code. That's not their job. And sometimes, citizens and politicians can use tech to come together and also maybe have more transparency in gov.
Totally.
Well,
yeah. And the redistricting stuff only happens every 10 years. So it is kind of like, you got to get it right.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Otherwise, you're stuck for 10 years. And especially at the state and the federal level, there's a lot of funny business.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of incentives to not do the right thing sometimes.
Yeah. So far, the Seattle city level stuff has been pretty promising. The commissioners have been pretty transparent and stuff. So it's been
all right. Well, thank you so much, Scott. And thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
All right, Rachel. Hello. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. I have built a Lego light diffuser for
Yes.
one of your matrices.
Oh, that's
So
a good idea.
a
So you
little
put the Legos on top of. Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't know if this will help with the.
Ooh,
So reset.
fun.
Yeah, that's neat because it's all these little mini diffusers.
Exactly. I haven't quite got the lighting right for the camera, but trust me,
Oh,
That's
that's
all right.
good.
quite beautiful in person.
Yeah.
And
It's
I've been doing
crystalline.
yes. And if I can get, for example, the blue under, there are a lot of Lego parts that fluoresce, and
Yeah.
the blue LEDs are close enough to the UV spectrum to make them pop like
That's
that.
great.
It's neat because it's a combination of for the folks out there who remember Light Bright, it's a little bit like that. And I always like seeing these projects on Show and Tell because I know for a fact that Lego watches our shows and our website and everything. That's a really good idea. I can imagine them doing like a Bluetooth light panel one day where you would, they have the sheets. I go by the Lego store here in New York and they have like the giant sheets that are just, you pop Legos on top of it, but there isn't a clear one that's computer controlled or phone controlled that you could do animations and things behind it. So the maker world tends to be the product development and design for some really good things that come out. But you get to build it now and share it.
Well, I mean, I just love to inspire more coding that's based on art and technology and not always navigation and robots, right? So
Same.
Fun.
understanding an LED matrix, I've actually built a whole LED matrix out of just raw components stuck on the Lego. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. The form of electronics that we like to do the most is like art and technology working with people. We don't do like the BattleBot stuff because that's covered, done. That's done. But like art bots are fun. We did some things with Cricut, but a lot of it is the things that we like to do is a lot of light art with LEDs.
right, yeah. I mean, the minute a bot or a drone is going to do something with some kind of other context, it's going to map out an architectural area or something instead of just battling each other.
Yeah,
that's good too. I just think navigation, like you said, it's kind of covered, and I don't see enough with playing around with light and color and LED matrices. So hoping to see more of that. And I'm working on a version applying your matrix to create fireworks as the backdrop for a Lego Juneteenth display.
Oh,
for
cool.
next week.
Oh, great.
That'll be at the Brick World in Chicago.
Well, Rachel, if you don't mind, could you send an email with any of these if we could post it up on our blog? If you remember, I'm pt@adafruit.com. And if anything you got with any of these projects, we could post it on our blog, or if it's going to be an event, let us know and we'll help get the word out.
You mean like videos or just pictures? Or
just whatever, pictures, or if there's a video somewhere, if you put it on YouTube, you can send links, whatever.
Right, especially on Juneteenth. I mean, we'll be live at the show on Juneteenth, and so it'd be nice to do a little.
Right on.
Okay.
Well, nice to electronically meet you, Rachel. Cool project.
Rachel.
All right. Now, do I have to do something here to disconnect?
No, I'm gonna press a button and you're just gonna go away. Yeah, that's how easy it is. All right, bye, Rachel.
Bye.
Okay, John, how's it going?
Hi, welcome back.
Hey, we blogged your project last week or so, and folks really liked it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What you get? You're back for more.
Yeah. It wasn't stressful enough, so I came back on.
Yeah.
So this is a project I did a while ago. It's just a garage door left open notifier. So you can see here it's got this little known MCU on here, just the Wi-Fi chip, and then there's a tilt sensor here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you just mount this on your garage door, and then when your garage door changes states, right?
Yeah.
The tilt switch changes. It wakes up the Node MCU, and then it sends out an email telling me that I left my garage door open after 5 minutes. It's not like as soon as you open the garage door, but
Oh, handy. I like the simple single-use functionality.
thanks. And so I've had this for a while, but one of the things that I've had a problem with is this case. If you don't mount it correctly, right? So if you mount it upside down, it's always down, right? And the tilt switch doesn't detect the change, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
So I recently got a 3D printer, and the update I want to do on this is I added an orientation arrow on here, right?
Ah,
There you go.
So
This side up.
yep. So when you mount it on here, make sure your arrow's pointing up, and then you always mount it the correct way on your garage door.
yay.
So, anyways,
Good work.
Problem
You know,
solved.
it's funny with 3D printers. One of the things that when they first kind of hit the scene, we thought that one of the ultimate destinations for them was printing enclosures for electronics. But when the 3D printers first came out, everyone was like, "I want to print a Yoda head," and they kept doing that over and over and over. But now it seems like that's one of the things that folks really like to do is they're making all the different things for their other stuff to fit in there, and they're doing almost product design from their homes.
Yep. And I'm sure I'm going to be doing a lot more 3D printing stuff. So I hope you guys don't mind if I come back on.
Yeah, we're here every week, no matter what.
If your prints extrudes right, then come on by.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
on Wednesdays, this week, Noah and Pedro were off, but every Wednesday, Noah and Pedro have 3D Hangouts, the longest running live 3D printing show. So stop by there too.
Oh, cool. Well, let's check that out.
Okay, John. Well,
Awesome.
Cool projects. Maybe we'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you. See ya.
All right. Okay, that is our show and tell, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. This is the best half an hour of the week, every single week when we get to do a show and tell. Thank you so much for coming by. We'll see everyone next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, where you can show and share your projects, bring some light into the world, LEDs, Legos, more. And we'll see everybody on Ask an Engineer in just a few minutes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you in a couple.